Howdy ho there, people. Guess what? We're going to dive in on the Hunters for a change.
And it's flounder season.
And it's flounder season. And
we got Ryan and Teresa.
We got Ryan and Teresa on the boat today. So Ryan and I are in the tournament, so I'm going to take him to the worst spot first.
I know we're going a little further offshore than the big flounder. That's probably what you're doing, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Get me a little one first.
That's right.
You're going to put him in the shadow of the boat?
Yeah, that's right.
We're on the just right boat.
So we're going to go out and try to get some flounder today.
We're going to get our names on the board.
Yeah. Yeah, if we get our names on the board today, I'm happy because thus far we've got 2 flounder weighed. 2 flounder, that's pitiful in my little tournament. So we're going to have to do better than that. So like I said, this is actually the first time that I'm diving off my own boat. Can you believe that?
Wow.
I know, it's hard to believe we've had it for over a year.
Whole year.
Wow.
Yeah, because his ears thing.
All right, people, let's do it.
You good with that? Want me on the bottom? Okay.
After having done large spearfishing tournaments in both Wrightsville Beach and Carolina Beach in years past, I really have no desire for that. However, I did decide to do a little Calcutta tournament among some of my friends that I dive with quite often to celebrate the opening of flounder season. So we're going to run this little tournament through flounder season. So sit back and enjoy. So topsail LST stands for landing ship tank, which means it was a very large landing craft that was capable of carrying tanks. The bow used to be intact up until a couple years ago. This is the first time I've dove it since it collapsed. It used to be really cool, really big up front with an actual ramp, but it's been knocked down probably by one of the recent hurricanes. It's still a good dive, but it just does not have all the structure up front that you could swim through, which is kind of sad because it's kind of fun. But it'll still be a good dive for years to come. So what you see here is back at the anchor, and this is actually underneath the stern superstructure. And you used to be able to swim through here and spearfish in here, but you can see all these columns are really bending. I don't know how safe it is to go in there very much longer. There's a lot of weight on top of here, and I suspect one of the hurricanes that we'll get in the next couple of years is going to take down this section as well. And when that happens, it's just going to be a giant junkyard with not a whole lot of structure to give it the shape of a ship. But that is the way of things.
Beth's on the board! She's on the board!
Now I'm going to come back and wish I'd probably taken the weight down, but anyway.
Well, that's the way it works. You don't bring camera, you don't bring something.
Huh?
Reach on the bottom. Bottom reach on the line.
Oh.
Hey, y'all have a great job.
So this is the highest point on the wreck now, pretty much anyway. I call it the ladder to nowhere. And Beth's up here checking out some French angels close to the ladder. But toward the end of this clip, she sees a tautog, um, which is important because tautogs are in my tournament. Anyway, you'll see what happens next. Kind of funny. So this little piece of wreckage that you see here is tight enough to where I could shoot the tautog, but I couldn't actually get to the tautog. And I didn't want to risk pulling him back out and losing him, so I just had to hand it up to Beth because she was above on that piece of plating. Teamwork, man. Team work.
I got that tautog. It was kind of a team effort. I got him out there rubbling.
Kind of skinned him along the way, didn't he?
Well,
Lay him down there too.
dude, he went down in a hole. I had to pin him against the wreck. Beth had to go around the other side and grab him. Here you go. Okay, I'm gonna roll in. Go ahead.
this is the actual stern of the John D. Gill, fairly close to the rudder quadrant. It's pretty good, as you can see. A lot better than I expected. I'm not going to lie. Even though the water was nice and blue on top, we didn't expect it to be that good on the bottom. But we were pleased. So this little guy was pretty cool. He's like, I have my shell. And it's my shell, not your shell. Get away. It's kind of funny, actually. So as you can see, Beth's mask is pretty fogged over at this point. She has difficulty even seeing her gauges, much less any flounder. Since Beth can't see out of her mask, she does not see how close she is to the line of fire of my gun here. But no worries, people. Would be saves today. Catastrophe avoided. So this is a steering quadrant you see right in the right-hand side of the frame here. That's what would have controlled the rudder. So anyway, there's a nice flounder right underneath that quadrant that you see. I'm going to try to come back and get that one after I drop Beth off on the anchor so she can go ahead and go on up. When I get back to said anchor, I noticed that Mr. Carlton has dropped off his flounder there as well. So, I see what you're up to, Mr. Carlton. But anyway, see what happens next. So I'll go back to get that flounder I saw on the way back to the anchor line, but I noticed the bait fish are starting to act a little odd, so I knew something was up. So I saw just enough of that shark to know it was time to collect my flounder and skedoodle.
There was a nice flounder that we swam over at the very end, right, because we swam around. We did the swim around the quadrant at the very end. I sent Beth up. I went to go back to get that flounder. I swam back for it. The shark came out. And I was like, I guess not. Turn around and go home.
I never saw the shark.
Yeah. He came. He only made a quick pass.
We tried to go to different spots after the first dive on the gill. We went 3 miles to the south, the viz was bad. We went a mile to the north, the viz was bad. So we ended up just coming back to the gill and doing another dive on the bow section, which is where we're at now. So Beth tried to shoot a nice flounder here, but it kind of popped off and went underneath this piece of plating. She takes off after it, trying to get to it, but it swims underneath another piece of plating. And you're not getting to it after that. So you can tell here that the current picked up between dives, and you can see how quickly Beth is moving away from the anchor when she lets go of it. So yeah, current definitely picked up.